So, Nina the Starry
Hello,
Bride.
Jab. Let's
Yes,
do some finales.
yes, the final week is upon us. We're gonna kick it off with Nina the Starry Bride, episode 12. You wanna start us off with what happened?
Yeah, so as we know, she got used to poison our beloved Seth, and and Nina got set up, and she had to stop her lady in waiting from killing him completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like a little chat right there of like what's going on, like she was like super shocked that this was happening. And then she she was taken, obviously as guilty, because the as soon as the guards were coming, the lady in waiting left, and she was taken and said was super bad, and had to be
Taken to emergency.
yeah, be put for the doctor, get taken to the thing. So um obviously Nina is like super worried, can't even put in her head, like she kind of figures that it was for like because they didn't trust her that she would take care of Fortna, that this was their way of defending it and protecting it.
Yeah,
um so yeah, Nina's definitely, the straw there and stuff like that. I really,
yeah,
really
yeah. And I think
think it's interesting.
the biggest shock of
Yeah.
this was that Hikami was actually a dude, at least to me.
Yeah, that was such a good like twist too.
Yeah, I was not expecting that one, and you kept a good tight lip over that, even though sometimes you would like tell me stuff from the manga that I did not pay attention to, but like finding out Hikami was a dude was like, oh wow, that's quite shocking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean even the king like summons the United thing, right, to like have kind of like a sort of like a fair trial, kind of, but not really.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, but not really.
yeah, and in that like I think Hikami takes full responsibility for it, but also like even then like Anne, the other lady in waiting that's Nina's friend, like tells them like it was somebody from the Blackwing that gave her that poison that Hikami ended up using in the long run, which was it was kind of like bad because it kind of like put the blame on the Blackwing, which is already like pretty much could be a sentence to death, you know?
Right, right. That also is like a whole like so crazy, right? That they managed, yeah, to put the blame on the wing, and they actually taking, you know, um, forces, or like like they're actually taking measurements, for to that against them. So that's intense. They're gonna be sent out to like an imprisonment.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and also like Nina defends Anne, right? She was like, "Well, Anne is telling the truth, right?" And she like stuck
yeah,
her neck out for her, and yeah, they were gonna get sent to prison, and I
and then
do.
the other one hang herself,
Yep,
and yeah, so
she wrote like a letter that was like, well, it was all her fault, and then ended up taking her life. So in that way, it was like less of a blame on Nina, and she took all the blame for it essentially, right? So Nina's hands would come clean, which is kind of like really
yeah.
funny because they had like a conversation while Nina was in the cell about how you can't always keep your hands clean, right? When sometimes you're gonna have to like
Mhm.
get them bloodied or dirtied in some shape or way to protect the country, and Nina was not having that. She said that she had to come out. She wanted to come out of it and slap her, right, or slap him. and not to die until
Yeah.
that happened. And obviously then the suicide happened, which was, it was like, damn. I kind of figured, what ended up happening was that she Hikami would like fake his death, which did end up happening. Um, because Nina was like,
Yeah.
like completely out of it, and she had no idea what was happening. Obviously, they were like, Todd went in there, right? The one that was actually the one that sent the poison to Nina's lady in waiting with somebody else, and he basically taunted Nina like, "Oh, you're gonna rot in a cell somewhere." And when Seth wakes up, he's gonna be so mad at you, right? And I'm gonna be there to like finally have my god, like he wanted Seth to remain cold blooded killer to the bitter end, and Nina was kind of getting in the way of that. That's why in the Coliseum he plotted for her to die by that criminal he hired under the Black Wing, which is this Black Wing is so under pressure that it keeps getting constantly put as the scapegoat for this guy's schemes, you know.
Hmm.
And of course he doesn't like really say out loud, right, that it was all his planning, right, but he's kind of taunting Nina, kind of implying that. And obviously because she's gonna be sent far away, Seth's not gonna hear her truth about it, so she's constantly thinking like, what's gonna happen when Seth wakes up, right? Is he gonna go back to
Hmm.
the to his old ways where he was kind of like
She
aloof?
was worried that he wasn't going to wake up, but yeah, I
Yeah,
guess. But I think she didn't mind. I mean, like she said to him, like once he wakes up, he would listen to what she has to say and believe her.
I
So
mean,
she was really never worried.
yeah.
So.
And I like the smart thing, right, where it was like the Hikami kind of put like the antidote in the cookies, right? So like the because Seth took a bite out of the cookies
Yes.
first, it kind of like
I mean,
slowed the
that's kind of what riled him up to go confront her, right?
Yep.
I feel like if she would have actually drinking the poison as well, he would have really just, obviously kept his distance and stayed quiet, you know. But I feel like since he was having an antidote and he figured someone was there, he wanted to go talk to her to see if they were in it together or not, or something in that sort. So, but yeah, he was angry too, as well, because obviously it like backfired, like,
Yeah, it backfired because Seth woke up
so.
and sliced him up. Like we saw him like in the floor, bloodied and stuff, and Seth does not look happy. And his first thought was like, "Where's Nina?" Right? Like, and obviously Nina like
Right.
learned that Toth had sent an assassin, or the king has either Toad or the king has sent an assassin after Ass, who's going back, right? So in a way, this whole thing wasn't gonna ever reach Fortuna, and they were pretty much gonna be caught in the blind side. But
Yeah,
because
the assassins. Yeah, who did she hear from? Oh, from that guy again.
yeah,
That assassins had been sent to. Yeah.
yep,
So crazy.
yep, and she was losing hope because it's like Ass
But
is
yeah,
gonna.
but you know what? The anime, it's much better at showing kind of like her powers,
Her powers.
because in the manga it's more like, yeah, like, because don't you notice when she was talking to the lady in waiting, her eyes would take this spark and she would do as she told her. Like she was ready to kill the guy, and then as soon as she looked at her eyes and told her not to, she couldn't. She stopped.
Yeah, I
And
mean I
they
did notice
like
that.
they do a much better job at showing that. And the birds, when she was like, protect, like, what, they're gonna get assassins, and the birds like attacked or like show the way that, the hidden ones. Yeah, that's the that Star Priest powers and shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
that was
seems
good.
like Nina seems to actually be a descendant, even though she's not
Yeah,
royal. Like,
I mean
so
it could be that way, right? Because we know like the royals or nobles, whatever, right? They tend to have more than one like person that they get with. So like
yeah,
it could
yeah,
be like
yes,
her mother
yes,
used to. Be,
exactly, and that's kind of what the theory is right now of that too, because they did recognize her as a true person. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, she has. Yeah, she's. Yeah, I like that. When the carriage on the way, um, was so cute. I don't remember that in the manga, but I thought it was very, very her outfit. I love how many outfits they give her. Like, love just like constantly changing and how beautiful she looks too. So yeah, that um a departure and arriving to 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 the prison seemed pretty intense in my opinion in a way. Like I was like, damn,
yeah,
it's really getting real and bad in a way, like things are not very good for her, as like he said, he had to leave knowing that someone was out to kill her,
yep,
that is out trying to kill her. So
yeah. And
yeah.
I definitely like I said, I do like that. Before like Nina learned of Hikami's like fake suicide attempt,
Mm-hmm.
she was
Yeah.
like spiraling down into like a whole pitfall, and like you could actually see like the color in
Yes,
her eyes
yes,
like diminish.
yes, she
And,
really does,
yeah, but obviously because Anne was
she
like,
snaps she snaps out of it pretty quickly though, so thank God.
well, yeah, because Anne was like, yeah. So Hikami's like on his way to protect us, so you don't have to worry about him being dead, right? So like that in a way, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like okay, well, if Hikami's found a way to like go on, I think I need to keep doing what I've been doing and not lose hope, right? And even though
Mm-hmm.
she was being sent to like a cold, isolated place, she she still was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make the best of it, and I'm just gonna hold out till I can like reunite with As or Seth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and she vows to speak to Seth again, like really, because I think it's just really cool seeing how her connection with Seth has improved throughout, and also like how
Mm-hmm.
it almost feels like it's overtaken her feelings for us, but she's you can still feel that she still loves As very deeply, but it's just at least to me it seems that Seth is kind of like a bit more in the forefront because I think she has a special connection with Seth and being the one person she found, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Overall, like Nina was amazing. Like I think from beginning to end, there's not been a episode where I was like, man, this feels really slow, like or this feels boring to the point where I wanted to drop it. Like I think after the third episode, which was the one that me and you were both kind of like, oh no, this is gonna be like one of these like hitting jams or like one of the best ones for the season. And I'm glad we stuck
Yeah.
to it. All 12 episodes, and yeah, I highly recommend this to like anybody watching.
Mhm. Yep. So they really um room, like, not a cliffhanger, but obviously in the middle of things happening,
Yes,
like, so
I mean it was kind of a
they left
cliffhanger.
it in this. Huh?
it was kind of like a cliffhanger though, right? With
Yeah, it was, you're right. It was like kind of a cliffhanger more than not.
yeah,
So, but yeah, at least makes you kind of feel like a season is not that far off. So another, the
yeah. Well,
the
I
other
mean,
season.
you're the expert here in the Nina, since you read the manga. How many chapters we got left from where this left off? If you know.
Oh, I think not that much, like 10. Like we're pretty, like it's not that far.
Oh, okay. No, so we're gonna be
Yeah.
waiting like 5 years for a season two. Is what you're telling me.
Um, but yeah, yeah, it's like, or maybe like, yeah, maybe like 20, but it didn't feel like they're still dealing with, you know, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It felt like it's kind, yeah, it kind of is close to the manga. Like maybe 5 more episodes and it would have caught up with it for sure. So.
well. I'm glad they left us on a decent cliffhanger before the next. I guess this is like the finale of this arc, right? And whatever the next arc is probably gonna be like the Nina retrieval arc or whatnot. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
that's the end of Nina discussions for a while, unless we decide to cover the manga. Um,
Yeah.
but uh, moving on to the next anime, Yakuza Fiancé,
Yakuza Fiancé.
so 12, the season finale. So, oh boy, what a episode we got for this one, because we're finally getting the couple finally back in Tokyo, and
Yes.
Yoshino has to attend extra class because obviously she's a dum dum. Um,
Hmm.
but she looks at her watch and it's kind of like, okay, it's 7 p.m. right now, and then just completely ignores Kirishima for like the next 3 days.
Correct. Oh my God. Which it was driving him. First, he really was taking it like a game,
Mm-hmm.
just like, and like teasing, like he was just getting teased and all that. But as soon as things were getting,
After the first day of being ignored, technically.
yeah, like by the end of the first day, he was like not feeling it. Like he was not having it. He really, really was ready to, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
mean,
just
he
so
tried everything, right?
interesting.
Everything he thought was gonna be good. Like I think he made her like treats and a cake.
Yes,
Eh,
he did. He was really trying.
Yeah, he was really trying to pull at her sweet side, like, and it was just she was just like not working. It was not working. Like even the guy, that took her to school and stuff for her extra classes was like, "Did you come here with Kirishima?" She's like, "Nope, I didn't come. I came here alone. I came home alone." And he was like right there. She was just ignoring him. Like it felt like that episode of South Park when they were ignoring Eric Cartman.
Oh my God, you cannot ignore Eric Carmen.
Yeah, but
He'll go
it
tell you, yeah.
it felt like that, and I was laughing.
Well, he's always so funny.
Yeah,
He
it
was
was.
doing such a good job.
Yeah, and even Kirishima even went to Subaki, right, and asked her for advice, like, what, how do I get her to talk to me? And she's just like, oh boy. It's like that'll be all up to her. It usually could be like 24 hours. It could even last a
Hmm.
month. It just really depends on the time she set for herself. And it only took up to the rainy day, the third day, when he was just out there in the cold rain, like begging her, and you know, down to like the last like half hour, she's like, okay, I guess I'll give you a break this time and cut the punishment short for like half an hour. And Kirishima was like, so you knew I was here, or like you knew, like, you knew you you knew I was around. You just ignored me. She's like, yeah, well, if I yelled at you, you would just give me an empty apology,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't really know learn your lesson, which is really smart of her. Uh, First of all, because like that's so true. Like every time,
Mhm.
every time she's giving him like a pep talk or something else, he'd just be like, "Oh yeah, I won't do that again." You know, like I'm terribly sorry. You know, and it was just empty lie. You know.
Yeah. It was empty. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, sorry. Just don't be mad, kind of,
Yeah.
apology.
Yeah, and then she gave him like three things. It's like you're gonna understand these three things, and one of them was like not to get Shoma involved in all his BS anymore, right? Not to even contact them without her knowing.
Hmm.
And the other one was the fact that he was only allowed to like get her right involved in it because they are kind of like a couple, so it is kind of like his problems are gonna be her problems. So that's the only reason she included herself in it. It's like you can include in me because you know you can rely on me.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and she even like wore the dress that he got her, right? Because she was like, well, I figured you would be pretty angry, so I felt like this would like cut some of the edge off of you if you saw me in a dress. But she's not the dress girl. She's more of like a jeans girl, I believe she said.
Yeah.
And you know
So,
they get to talking a little bit, and it's one of the obviously conversations that they had was Shoma once again, right? Because Shoma has to be like at the forefront, and basically what they had was like that Shoma was a very good like model for like the future Yakuza to
hmm.
uphold, and she kind of was like, well, you're kind of like that too, and he's like, not really. You know, I'm not one that you could say is people should like mimic or try to aspire to be, which he's kind of right.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you know, I love how that when they get to talking and all this kind of like he's just like, oh well, you know, like most of the time I really, because I think they talked about friends growing up too, right? And that's why Shoma was kind of like brought up, and Shoma was like the one that like helped Yoshino throughout all of middle school to not
Hmm.
get bullied. And Hiroshima said he had like one friend that he obsessively tried to like get to like him in like a certain way. He even like planned out the entire details of how to he was gonna get this one person to like be his friend and whatnot. And I feel like that's gonna be saved for like a later season to meet that one person, or maybe it's the guy that has his, you know, the one that he fought with the cut on his lips or whatnot, because they seem to like know each other. But his only true friend, he really tells Joshino, is kind of like her because he only really finds joy spending time with her, and that was like really sweet moment, you know. And Yoshino just wants to know like the proper way of being what going out means and being a girlfriend, right, with Kirishima.
Hmm.
And he says like, well, we can just
Mm.
hold hands, you know. We can start by holding hands, and they hold hands, and it's like really gets kind of intense once he puts like some lotion on her hand, right, and he just starts licking it, and that sounds like a chill out of her spine, and just like she pushes him away.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely love the fact that she really comes to get him, like when he was about to hit his breaking point,
Yeah.
and that she dresses up so cute and up and with his clothes to kind of bring him down, to like calm him down,
Yep.
to like, because she was assuming that
He
he
was
was
gonna
just gonna be angry and
and pissed.
and hard to control kind of thing. So So yeah, it was very cute. The conversation and how back to normal they went,
Yep.
and that this time it really did stuck to him. That he should listen and consider, to what he said. I do remember he said something that really, really. Oh yeah, how to stop dragging people into his shed.
Yep.
That only her, like she can drag, like he can drag her like all he wants, but not to do it to other people.
Yeah. Yep. I
And
did say
and
that.
I just love like the expression that he put on his face about from that, like like he was, yeah, like it was light, it was glowing, he was like glowing.
Yep. It was
But yeah,
quite.
it was a cute little ending. It really, it's like, I feel like it was a season, or like a first season of really introducing characters, because as we saw,
Yep.
they were having the old people, that meeting of all the heads and all that stuff. And we see that the dude that contracted that mask dude, or like the face mask, I should say, um, was from contracted from one of the big guys there.
Yep.
So that's going to, I really feel like this season was more of an introduction than anything. So,
Yeah, and I like that because also I think um Joshino's dad, right, seems to have caught on to that, and he's kind of like poking around to see if the guy bites or and whatnot, right? Try to get him to like go with him to get drinks and stuff, and probably get info out. But I think he also got to beat up the guy with the mask. Like Renji went to pay him a visit and beat him up a bit for like
mhm,
getting Yoshino involved in all this. So like Yoshino's grandfather like been doing this, been knowing what to do, been handling business behind the scenes, and seems like a big player is coming in, which was kind of like what we were hinted at with the previous episodes, right? Of how things were about to shake up, and if Shoma and Kirishima knew better that they should leave the Yakuza life behind. And yeah, I mean, I like how the season ends with like Kirishima just picking up roses and cake for Yoshino, and then he thought something had happened to her because she wouldn't answer the door. So he just like bursts in and just sees her sleeping on the floor and just decides to like lay next to her. It's kind of like
mhm,
very like coupley way, and also like he hands her like his jacket to like keep her warm as she's like sleeping in the floor. So it's kind of like it's we're just like getting the start of their relationship, and obviously the character introductions were good.
yeah, very happy for them. Hopefully, we good. The second season's soon,
Uh, maybe next,
not in 3, 5 years.
maybe
So,
two max, because it does seem like this one was well received too. So like, and this at least this one didn't end in a big cliffhanger like some of the other ones, but
mhm.
this one feels very like good stopping point to wait. So yeah, that was Yakuza Fiance. Uh, on to the next anime.
2, 3.
Arifureta, episode 10. So, we are finally heading into our major dungeon, or major last labyrinth, I should say, right? Uh,
Right, yes.
but but before that, we get a little more with the Shizuku, or the girl with the sword. Like she's training her
Oh
bottle
yeah,
her
yeah.
bottle.
We get it. We get contact in this episode from her, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, little side
She's
character
a nice
showing.
girl.
I agree. Hajime thinks so too, and he like
Yeah,
gives some pep talks about like, you know,
right. How she's acting different.
yep, which it's been like that ever since she had that dream, which it's probably she probably is gonna fight for sixth position in this little harem. Hajime
Hmm.
is growing.
I
Um,
know. She has too much pride to even fight for a position. She's
yeah,
just gonna long for one, you know? She's just gonna be longing
yeah,
for
that is
one.
true. But he notices she's acting different, and then he's like, "Oh, you can get much stronger." It's like I've mastered
Yeah,
the evolution of magic, and it's like, let me see your sword, and
right. He's like helping her out and they're like practicing because she was practicing.
yeah, and then
Yeah, it was like a cute little moment
yeah, she gets so
scenes from
comfortable she
them.
falls asleep, with him
Yeah,
with him watching.
yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean
And
it
he has to like take her back. Yeah.
yep, and she realizes that too. Oh man. But this compass is so handy. Like, they pretty much telling them exactly where to go to get home. So like they make it to the labyrinth like quicker than most times, right? I believe like this didn't even take like an episode. Usually we're like traveling for like 3 episodes till we
Hmm.
find one. And yeah, this is it's pretty cool because they make it to like a nice snow place where the labyrinth's supposed to be, and Hajime has developed some like accessories that like just make them not feel any cold, or like keeps them warm enough to not feel super cold in the snow. So like none of them have to like wear any jackets or anything. It's just whatever they have on, they can just go.
Hmm.
And we have our cute little Shea moment where she tries to play in the snow and then falls deep into the passageway to the labyrinth. And everybody's just like, what do we do? And Hajime's like, well, we just jump in. So like everybody just jumps in, and yeah, I mean, Chea's up to her shenanigans, like going around, just knocking things over. And I do believe that Julius says like, it's been a while since we had like a cute Shea moment like this, right? We haven't had like a moment where it was just Shea being like a little dummy in a bit, and which was nice to see that she still has that character to her, right? But you know, it it was really a nice sense of like how much Shea has growth to me. Like I feel like even though she's grown so much, she still has this childlike character, which is very fond. I'm very fond of, and I'm glad it's still there.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then we meet the little rabbits. Um, yeah. I've had this like weird feeling ever since ReZero about rabbits,
Mm.
and I was so happy to see that Hajime just started blasting them all and squishing them all.
Oh yes, that was crazy. It was kind of funny how like they all was kind of freaking out for him, like of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were not having it.
No, and also like I do believe that Cher was like having being traumatized just seeing like some like life creatures like that look like her just be squished and destroyed. Kind of like, oh, that could be her. At any point. And
Hmm.
obviously the girl, uh Suzuki or whatnot, right? The night one. She was like, oh, it's a cute rabbit, and everyone's like, yep, that's so you, right? Just acting of all the cute things. And
Hmm.
you know Hajime has to do what Hajime does and just tell Shara like usual, like you're the only rabbit I really care about. It's like, so you don't have to put yourself in their shoes or anything like that. Just know I care about you, and that was enough for her to be like, yeah, okay, I'm good.
Hmm. Yeah.
And and then Kaori and Tio are kind of like, well, we're not gonna fall too far behind. We're gonna put in more effort to get there. Where Shea and Yue are, and Yue is just kind of like, have you ever heard of like wasted effort?
Right.
Eh. So it's fun seeing how they all have like different interactions, and Yue just does not want Kaori to be in the circle, so she's always gonna be mocking her. But at some point, she's gonna have to let her integrate. I fear for her. And of course, afterwards is like more trials, where it's like first is the big blizzard that Hajime's like, well, even my accessories can't really do much to this. We might get frostbite if we keep going as we are. And lo and behold, Susu, the barrier girl, she, thanks to Hajime, like upgrading her magic or whatnot, she's able to make barriers that keep the blizzard away. So now they don't even have to worry about crossing the blizzard. And then they reach
Yeah.
the cave with all the monsters. You wanna talk about that for a bit?
No, no, I don't remember much. So
Ah, okay.
of that part. No.
So basically, they get into this ice cave, and that's where they're supposed to be. And there's a bunch of like uh ice birds just popping up out of everywhere. And there's this core that they have to destroy, but because of the core is always like creating these ice monsters, Hajime is just busy keeping them at bay. So what ends up happening is Koiki, the night guy, that's with them, decided, I'm gonna take this
Mm-hmm.
upon myself and just take care of him if you'll allow me. And he's like, yeah, I'll cover you. And so all the three extras, the Koki, the girl that's with the sword, and the other guy that's with them, go and try to defeat the actual like boss of the floor. And they pretty much get the job done. At one point, the Koki just has to like charge up his sword attack, so they end up having to keep it busy. And at one point, the the girl with the sword, she ended up having to be in trouble, but Hajime just was able to like help her out, shoot the monsters away without even looking at them, and that was really impressive for me.
Mm,
And obviously, they destroy the monster, and they destroy the orb, and then they have to proceed on to the labyrinth, and then Kuriki hears something from the labyrinth, like a voice is calling out to them, but nobody else hears it except him, and that's how the episode wraps up.
yeah, that do remember that nobody hears that voice and he does. That is intriguing. So we
I
get to
mean,
see more of that. Yeah, but the labyrinth is like done though, right? Like they passed it.
no, I think that
Like,
was just the entrance.
no?
For me, I think that was the
Nah.
entrance. Yeah, they
Nah.
usually
Yeah,
have
it's
like,
true. It's like super long. Yeah, you're right. It's like super crazy long for the labyrinths. It's like almost a whole season sometimes.
yeah, I definitely don't think that'll be the end of it. I think we're gonna have like three more floors at least. But that voice that's calling out to him obviously seems like it's gonna be a dangerous one, and we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds for sure. But other than that, that's it. I have nothing else on this one. It's just been very fresh. Just been nice and short with like not a lot happening. Just like a lot of things are moving, but like not a lot to like really discuss. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
unless you got anything else you want to add, not
No.
all right,
Mm-mm.
well, let's move on to the next anime. So, little surprise, I have a good friend of mine, and also our thumbnail artist, Getokins, aka Leia. say hi to.
Alea.
Yeah, and
I love how you.
yeah, and we have this is a special occasion because she was watching Nina throughout the season, but you know, I wanted to hear her full thoughts on it, and also another of my friends will probably join us, hopefully at some point, get an overview of everything. So, Leia, tell the people what you like about Nina, what you hate, uh, overall opinions.
Okay, so usually I I really hate romance animes. Like I avoid them altogether. But this one, when Jab told me it was really good, and then Arya was telling me, "Oh my gosh, it's really good," I was like, "Oh, okay, well that's not enough to convince me." And then Arya was like, "You might like this guy in the story," and I was like, "Who?" They brought up Set. I was like, "Okay, no, not nonsense." And I watched it, and I did actually enjoy it, but before I got to Set, I had to meet everybody else. And my heart literally just expanded, bro. I find Nina a really sweet story. Mainly because she's like, she grew up the way she did. She was then taken in, and she had to deal with all that nonsense within a short period of time, and then had to suddenly fight for a home that wanted her dead. Like I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, poor Nina.
But the strength that she had was something that I really like to see in a main character. And I don't see that a lot, even with a lot of the animes that I do watch. They usually portrayed as like weak crybaby types, and it frustrates me, but she was not.
Oh
Like
no,
at all. I was like,
no,
ooh. Oh. And then we met Azur.
yeah.
I was like, ooh, this guy's hot. But he's even got a very complex character. Like I really enjoy him. And at the end of the day, it's become one of my top three actually. So
For the year.
who would have it really did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my god. Are you planning to pick up the manga?
Oof. Oof. I don't want to self spoil. Like, I don't know. When I read mangas, like, oh my god, I'm technically spoiling myself, even though I'm not. I just.
Yeah,
But
you.
you're telling me there is more Set, and I don't think I can go another week without Set in my, you know, brain waves. So I think I'm going to have to pick up the manga.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't
That
have to go.
one.
You don't have you don't have to go as crazy as like with Goku Ragai. You know, where you read it like 50 times. You know, maybe like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. But
sorry, Cal is hot.
yeah, yeah, she is. But back on so Seth is your favorite, right? Favorite character of the anime.
Absolutely. Can you blame me?
No, I knew once I saw Seth, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna love Seth. And that was before I knew he was voiced by the same guy that voices Ren. I'm like, oh, that's a nice surprise. No wonder.
Oh, when I saw that, it wasn't even like, you know, um it wasn't even like I got that on the first time. I just thought, oh, his voice is real familiar. And then like last night, I was literally checking all the voice actors for my favorites, and I was like, oh, oh my god.
It clicked right there and there.
Oops.
Yep. Oh my god. No, yeah. As for me, like like you said, like Nina's such a special character where she doesn't really isn't really portrayed as a crybaby and doesn't really cry a lot. She does have her moments where she feels kind of like in a spiral downwards, but she she's very optimistic and picks herself up, which is something I really enjoyed about her character, and also, just having her be like an actually good female character that's well written within the story is just it's just great.
And it gelled so well. Oh.
Yeah.
No, I love her to bits. Actually, nobody's allowed to hurt Nina. I will
No,
kill them. The
no,
legal reasons I was a girl.
in Minecraft, kill him in Minecraft.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Totally.
but
Like that.
yeah, but yeah. All right. So, what are some of your favorite moments from Nina?
Well, I don't know how far I can talk into per se, because for me, one of my favorite moments actually came within the last episode,
Yeah.
but also the episode where Nina was on the way to, I don't know how to pronounce it, Golgotha or something. What was it? Before I like sound like I'm reading the Bible.
Yeah, yeah, wherever Seth was, right? That's what you mean. I don't
Yeah,
really.
so
I,
on the way to that, and when Nina ended up getting thrown off course,
yeah,
and I got so anxious from that. I was like, oh no, the baby. And then seeing how they brought Set into it, I was like, whoa. From the graphics and the way that they actually brought like a depth to his character, from that scene especially, I was kind of like, whoa. Also with Nina, because like me personally, bro, if I was face to face with that, I wouldn't pick up the cub. Like,
oh my
what are you
god.
doing?
Yep.
No,
That was.
but that
I.
for sure was one of my favorites.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll share. One of my favorite moments was her actually choosing to leave Ashur behind, right? I think that was like a very powerful moment. It was like, especially for Nina,
Absolutely.
because she that like solidified her faith in herself. I want to say like, and it also made
Exactly.
she made such a huge sacrifice. She could have stayed, had a little comfier time with Ashur for like a while before she had to go eventually, but she chose to
Yeah.
protect their home instead, and thought that was powerful for her. And my other favorite moment is also like a moment with Nina and Seth when they were by the church where Seth grew up, right? And
Yes.
we
I
got to
cried.
hear Seth's backstory and how she's like, oh, the reason why he is the way that he is right now is because his heart is buried in this place. And I'm like, that is such a cool and like very deep insight into Seth's character. And it also like
Right.
was also like the beginning of Seth actually like opening up more to Nina. I want to say like that was when Seth had a realization. Oh, the reason why I'm so enchanted by Nina is because when I'm with her, like the world actually looks beautiful, and that's very nice for me. I think those are like my two favorite moments in the show, and
I just reimagined it. Oh.
yeah, it was so good, so good. Uh, Music that was playing during that episode too was so touching. Like the animation was like stellar from like episode 1 to like the last episode.
Literally.
And like you said,
Yeah.
that's I'm just like you, where sometimes I don't want to read the manga. I want to experience things uh through the anime. I'm doing that for like Haikyuu, doing that for ReZero, uh, doing that for Fire Force. But sometimes, like this one, I feel like I can just stay anime only because there's not a lot of talk about Nina online. But
Yeah, exactly.
I do,
I think I do.
yeah, I already know like Haikyuu and like at least the Haikyuu ending and Fire Force ending. So I'm not too mad if I about it. I just want to see how they get there. Um, but for Nina, I do want to read the manga, but I also kind of want to stay anime only, just because it'll be a lot easier.
I think the reason why I say like the self spoil is, you know, I think the leaks culture also didn't help, but I do like the fact that Nina doesn't have leakers. It's nice.
Yes.
But reading that manga every time it got released by leakers, it ruined JJK for me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it is still one of my top in my top 5, but it did get ruined for me.
Yeah.
I think for them as well. So for me, I'm skeptical to read the manga, but I also I want my characters. I want my princess Nina. I want to see more. I don't want to be waiting all this time of like,
uh,
please give me.
it's gonna be like at least a 2 year wait for anything Nina. I fear, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it when it comes back. Um, I do think my co-host Pichen said that after the stuff from this season, it does slow down a bit. So I'm interested to see how it slows down. But other than that, like, um, I wanna, I wanna, like you, I wanna keep, I would keep experiencing Nina. But
Yeah, I'm actually curious on how they. Well, because I've only like watched so far, I'm pretty curious to see how they go forward with this, especially because our ending scene had like a very, by my interpretation, a very jealous, possessive, and highly peed off set. I was like, oh, so how are they gonna kind of like put this in? You know, Arya even said earlier to us that she doesn't know if he's gonna kill Nina or keep her alive. I was like, no, I don't think he's gonna kill her.
yeah,
He's too for her.
yeah. I don't think Seth would go as far as to kill Nina. It's just he just um he just woke up kind of angry. That's all. I think, like Nina
Yeah,
said,
he's a little
uh,
bear with a headache.
yeah. Uh, with how Nina said, right? Seth is probably gonna hear her out first, and then probably, you know, side with her if he feels like she's telling the truth. It'd be something else if Nina was lying, which Seth already doesn't like. But I think Seth has known Nina enough to know that she wouldn't lie, and I mean she took a good cut from him. You know, like you said,
He did.
he is very possessive, and I also want to know like what's gonna happen if Asher and Seth meet on their way to meet Nina in the jail that they're at.
Yeah. Oh, that one's gonna be something.
Yeah, because we got like a little clash between them in the Coliseum, but it was just like it felt like Seth has never had like a person properly block his swings before, and
Yeah.
Asher was like the first one, so it's like, yeah, you're not. You're not a normal messenger person. And also,
Exactly.
they don't even know that Ashura is the king. So like that's also like something that when revealed, I wonder how it's gonna shake up what happened in the last few episodes.
I'm so that episode left me on a cliffhanger. I was like, hey, can't do this to me, bro. What the hell?
Yeah,
No.
no. They always be leaving us in cliffhangers in anime, sadly. Everything gets
I
left.
just find it funny
Mhm.
how you guys got spot on who I would love the most in the whole of Nina. I thought this is a jab. Well, excuse the pun. It was like a jab at how much I like my anime psychopaths or something.
Yeah.
So, like Korekiyo, Haruchio. Whoa, let's just add Set to the mix. Why don't we have like okay?
Yep.
You guys got me spot on though.
Yeah. I knew you would collect them like a Pokemon. It's all good.
Oh my god. They're my
Um.
really only.
Yeah. It's just the way the character is that I'm like, yeah, this is such a Leia coded character. But all right, we talked about things we liked. Uh, I don't think we're gonna get any controversial here. So like, let's just talk about things we hated about Nina.
um, Mr.
Characters.
Toad.
Yep. I I was very skeptical of him since the beginning, since the first meeting with
Yeah,
Nina.
the second I saw him, I see those angled bangs, you nasty piece of work.
Yep.
Oh, you are. I was right. Yeah, no, I thought to myself, when I saw him, not just based on his appearance or anything, but I think when you've watched enough anime where they have like these really crooked antagonists,
Yep.
and especially the ones that play nice in the beginning, like they're on your side, you kind of do pick up on it. And the first thing that alerted me about him was when he told Nina that he didn't want the throne. I was like,
You lying.
um, something is amiss because you either like the very psychopathic brother of the Black Wing, or you like the highly psychopathic, possessive, very powerful brother of the White Wing.
Yep.
And I left Bedeau out of it because Bedeau is like Asmodeus from Obey Me. He's like all flirt and no brain. It's like
I mean, he does.
there's no way like that.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. The first thing that made me aware that this person's probably not giving us a a full truth, or like at least he's being devious about something was right after he finished talking with Nina and he just had like a smirk in his face, and I was like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna like you.
getting it. Oof, I did not. I was like, I don't like this guy. And then I checked Reddit. And they're like, oh, he seems like the sweetest little brother. And I was like, Reddit has just proved to me they cannot analyze a character correctly. Like, that right there.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he's really kind.
I'm surprised.
No.
I'm surprised that the Reddit people had it like that, because you would think they would be up with the manga. Surprised you weren't spoiled.
Actually,
But
no. I think the one that I read was by somebody that was definitely anime only. But there were people that had like restricted comments in the comment section. I think that might have been like them saying, hello.
yeah,
That right there is not Holy Mary or whatever, you know.
yeah,
Um, but it all got limited. So the only thing I saw was people being really stupid about it. I was like, oh no.
yeah, yeah. It's he was the one of the few things I hated about it. The other thing I really hated about it was probably the king. I want to say the king was kind of like uh not so good, or at least not enough time for me to like really get to understand the motives behind her, right? Because I'm talking about Seth's mother, apparently, or like stepmom, whatever. Uh, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
like it,
definitely.
it was like, okay, we're gonna take it over. Whoever takes over the uh, Nina's heart first becomes the king, and it's like, oh, let's just scratch that. Let's just go to war. So it's like very much like they wanted to do it the right, like in a good way, sporty way, and then it's kind of like, okay, nah, we're just gonna have Seth rule again. So it's just playing the brothers, and also the fact that
I
they go ahead.
find her character very complex in a sense,
Yeah.
but here's what I'm gonna like kind of thing is about her. She says that she was readying the throne for Set. Now, here's why I think she's lying. Is because she said that to Nina. She wants Nina to kind of like her and trust her a little bit. Because obviously that's how you create a manipulative environment.
Yep.
But the thing is, she doesn't want to give up the power and try to swap the roles and how it happens. Because Nina's heart was very much ruled by Set. And now Seth, if he had to like full on become king, I'm sorry, I don't think that that woman would survive.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more to than moving the goalpost because she's her favorite son or whatever. She's doing it because she knows her time is limited. Like,
Yeah.
and, social powerful to avoid Set from actually being able to change anything.
Mm. The
And for me, that was like, lady, I don't like you.
yeah. Um. So you think she's afraid of Seth? Because it almost seemed like they.
I think she, you know what? At the end of the day, um, Set grew up like with blood on his hands.
Yep.
Grew up with a conscience that was very tainted, and I think for the most part, he didn't always agree with how she handled things. But when you're hungry for power, you think everybody ought to get you. So it's like that's where I'm kind of coming from. Even if Seth didn't, she is going to believe that he would be doing it because she wants the power. That is
Mm.
how I see it.
Okay.
Because how do you manage to lie that many times and then swap everything to like suit you? You know,
Yeah.
you're usurping the throne. But
Mm.
yeah, no, I don't know,
Yeah.
because the rest of the brothers have zero strength.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
The rest of the brothers are just ass. I'm like, Seth, you really are the only good one.
Yeah. Honestly, well, out of three now, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Out of three now. Hopefully out of three. I
I
don't.
was like, I think Widow, if Seth does kill any more people, like because I haven't read the manga, I don't know jack shit. But if he had to kill any more brothers, I think he would go after Widow next.
He'd take the purple one
Because
next.
how do you not make sure that he ends up at your prison
Yeah.
or your estate? I'm sitting there, I'm going,
Yeah.
nasty business, buddy.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well, speaking of like the other stuff, right? On to other things. Hikami, the lady in waiting that was with Nina. Was that a surprise that was a man to you? Because it was to me.
Oh, yeah. I remember writing to you in the group chat. I was like, what the beep, beep, beep? And I was like, wait, what? And you were like, I think I know you are. And I was like, no, no, no. No, you do not. Like, what is. I kept watching the same bit a few times. So I was like, there is no way I didn't see this coming. Because, like, technically you would think. And I thought, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely believed that Hikami was a full-on woman, and then that voice happened. I was like, and then the abs happened, and I was like, hold on,
It's like you look a little
hold,
different.
huh? I was like, whoops, the disguise or whatever for like a twin, or I thought to myself, I was in such denial, and then I watched further, and I was like, oh. Oh, you really are a lion beep.
Yeah. No, that.
But I do, I do how it progressed, especially when Hikami did listen to Nina
Yeah.
in the cells. And he realized, hold on, I don't gotta be brash. I just gotta change the plan a little bit. You know, I was still confused on how the heck he falsified what happened. I was like,
Yeah. So
oh,
mm, it's
I
I
can't mention that for a reason.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to like fake not having pulse. You know. Uh.
Yeah,
So not it was.
especially because he was skilled in like stuff.
Yeah. So that wasn't the biggest surprise to me that he did that. I'm just that was more shocked that he was able to make it to Ashura in time to like help him out.
Yeah, exactly. But I think not so much like the shock how somebody would fake it, but more the fact that he listened to Nina, because usually the only commands regarding strategy that he would take would usually be from the old king
Yeah.
or Zer. Like, Nina actually got through to that very command driven version of him,
Yeah. So
and he actually just followed through. Like, cute, actually.
yeah. So there is something that P-chan told me about this, right? Where it was not necessarily she didn't spoil anything, but she just uh made me remember how there's like that folk tale of the priestess with Nina's eye colors and how they hold certain power. And she will she was telling me that it's possible that Nina has the is a descendant of that priestess too, uh, because she has the same eye colors, and with that, it's able to more so like change people's hearts in a way, right? So it would make sense why after seeing Nina's eyes that Hikami would like turn and do what she should show what she suggested, right? So
Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh, Jab. Oh, that opens up a lot of things now that I'm being reminded of that. Oh.
same, it could be also why Seth has opened up to Nina because he's been seeing her eyes all this time, and also changing him. Same with Ashur, who has looked at Nina's eyes, and now that's why he wanted to become king to save Nina. So it's quite a it's quite something, and
Oh my.
Nina has the power to change people because of her eyes. So or people's hearts, I should say.
Yeah, I think that has somewhat a lot to be said about how hard people's hearts were. Like, I feel Set and Azura still had like a lot of vulnerabilities to work through,
Yep.
but with the King, Tote, because like she managed to get along with everybody for the most part,
Yep.
like except for being kidnapped by
Yeah.
he who shall not be named. That
Mm.
haircut was atrocious, but
Yep.
for the most part, managed to succeed with people's um like good sides and actually get along with people except for Tote and the King, because the King kept trying to find vulnerabilities to exploit with Nina that whole time
Yeah.
and like break her spirit and her eye, like when that part where she literally went, oh, her eyes have lost their sparkle or their shine.
Yep.
It was like that what she's trying to do, because that's how Nina is gonna turn things around. Oh,
Yeah. It kind of makes you want to do a whole rewatch, huh? Pay closer attention
yeah.
to.
Oh, it is. Because Tote had zero vulnerabilities. That mofo was pure evil,
Yeah.
and pure evil to the point where I can't even like that dude.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But
Nah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
yep, he he was the most despisable character this season for sure. I think at first they wanted to make us hate Seth, right? But like as we kept seeing him with Nina, and Nina kept his opening him up, right, and showing his more vulnerable sides and all this other stuff that we really needed. Uh, he just started changing for us, and I'm just like, damn, I kind of like you now.
Oh,
Like I think it
yeah,
was,
Arya was like, don't tell me that. But I think I like Set now, and I was like, I saw
yeah,
that. Told you.
yeah. It took like
I
the
mean,
sixth episode, I believe, where it was like, damn, yeah, I can't hate Seth. And then when the backstory for Seth came around, I was like, yeah, no, I actually like this character. And yeah, all right, we've had a good discussion, Leia. Any last thoughts on Nina?
for the most part, no. But now I'm gonna go rewatch. So,
Yeah.
oof.
Well, there you go. You won't have to go another week without Seth again, at least for a bit.
Yeah, I think how I'm gonna get through that is watching it 52 times. I did it with Tokyo Revengers. I can do it with Nina.
Yes, right. Well, I think that'll be it. Unless like later on Arya joins us, we'll reopen the call. But yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be it. All right, Dragon Ball Daima, episode 12.
Daima. So we got that Vegeta was gonna fight the Tamagotchi or whatever,
Yeah,
and
Tamagami. Yep,
Tamagami, and then
the
he's
Kraken.
almost got eaten by the Kraken, yeah, by the monster sea. And wow, that was so dramatic, of course. But we're glad to know that at the beginning of this episode, he manages to escape, and Goku didn't have to interfere.
Yep.
So the fight continued, and damn, it got good. I mean, Vegeta just kept leveling up until he turned into that type of Saiyan that looks like a gorilla. So
Yeah.
that's just
So it
insane.
was
Yeah.
it was really good because they were first of all, he had to go Super Saiyan just to escape the Kraken, and then he got sent back to the Kraken once again, and he had to go further and further beyond until he reached Super Saiyan 3. Which, by the way, like this is probably gonna upset like a lot of Dragon Ball Super fans because in Dragon Ball Super, it was stated that he could not transform Super Saiyan 3, but Dragon Ball Daima is saying, yeah, he kind of trained to be able to do this, so he could do it at any point. I guess he was just not mad enough that Beerus slapped his wife, you know, to turn Super Saiyan 3.
Mhm.
But which to me is kind of like more impressive because it just means that his Super Saiyan 2, or like, yeah, I guess his Super Saiyan 2 was able to exceed Goku's Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which was, for that portion at least good. But yeah, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3. Uh, Thoughts on it? How do you feel about this?
Right. Super Saiyan 3. Mm.
Yeah,
It was, yeah, it was crazy. I'm kind of glad that the bad guys were watching this too, so they can really see what they're messing with. And that green guy, the Namon or whatever, how he
Net.
made him stronger to make it more difficult, I guess,
Yep.
or because he was having like like not a hard time, I guess.
Yeah, after he went Super
So he
Saiyan
wanted,
2.
yeah, he wanted to make him mm, make make him have a hard time with him, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that the thing gave up. But dude, the other monster, he was
Majin
his
Buu.
fighting style, yeah, in the fight was so legit and weird and cool and funny. Like it was very unique to say the least.
Yes, it was.
Um,
And
and yeah,
I mean,
how they did the second game, it's always like a little trap or whatever. But the fact that both managed to win it, one for because the other one helped, which is good for the other one because then he can feel like he has part of it and he's doing his part in it.
yep.
Well, Vegeta's just kind of like a smart, like not as like smart guy, but just like pays attention, paid attention well enough to answer it correctly.
Yeah, his
So that was
reasoning
really
though
good.
for knowing that the guy didn't need any biscuits because snakes don't eat biscuits because there was snakes in the Vegeta planet. You know, interesting, interesting way to go about it. Obviously with the Tamagami one, it was kind of like, oh well, they did a nice diversion there because it was technically we figured it was gonna be Arisu, the scientist lady that did all the addition to it, and probably made him pass. But it was the brother, Majin Ku, I believe, right? He was the one that was able to
Mhm.
add as quickly as they were popping the numbers, which I was just like, goddamn, like I would not have been able to keep up with that at all. But yeah, no, that fight was with the Majin Buu. It felt very Majin Buu esque, right? Because Majin Buu fights just like Majin Buu, which is such a weird way of fighting, and also has that chocolate fixation that Majin Buu also has, which
Yeah.
is is what led him to like win the fight in the first place. After eating chocolate, he just like started wrecking Tamagami one, uh, which also Goma and the other guy were also watching both fights, and they were getting mad that both both of them took a Dragon Ball. So now it's gonna be very interesting seeing what happens next, right? Because also another thing in the Vegeta fight that I want to mention, they did that the way Vegeta fought the guy with his weapon, right? It was the same way that Goku deflected Trunks' sword with the fingers. I thought that was like really nice parallel
Mhm.
in that. But yeah, Gloria looks. I know Gloria's looking at Vegeta and Goku like, damn, how am I gonna take the Dragon Balls away from them?
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. And the fact that they also caught the other lady getting the other Dragon Ball, things are really like getting set up, like being
Yep.
put in place. Like, so I cannot wait for them to confront her. I cannot wait for our heroes to go try to get the ball and not find it, you know.
Yeah.
I because it's obviously going to build up to the big battle between all of them. So, can't wait, can't wait, can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. We're gonna finally get to see, I guess the Goku rematch with Boo that he always wanted. You know, right before Dragon Ball Z ended, and we're also gonna get to see Vegeta get his lick back at Boo, which he also wanted. You know, I definitely am wondering how strong Majin Buu is because it didn't seem like he struggled with the Tamagami at all, and
No,
and
no.
meanwhile Vegeta had to go Super Saiyan 3 to beat Tamagami 2, which if we're
Seems like
going,
he's still even learning his powers. It's like yeah,
yeah,
like he copies, that he tries to imitate and something, and like he discovers like a new power or something. Kind of interesting, in my opinion.
yeah, I agree. It's like Majin Buu and like Majin Ku are still like developing like their own like fighting abilities. I want to say like so.
Mm-hmm.
Majin Buu obviously is the stronger of the two. Majin Ku is the one with the brains.
Right,
So
right, right. A little bit more serious because that dude is like a baby in a way.
yeah, and now we have in the same way like Vegeta and Goku kind of mirror them in a way, right? Vegeta is the more serious, more like thoughtful fighter, and Goku's the
Mm-hmm.
more silly, more naive, not naive, but more like kiddish fighter like Majin Buu. So uh, maybe it'll be a tag team between the two. I am really excited to find out. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I have nothing else to say on Dragon Ball. You?
Mm-mm.
Well,
Yeah, no.
I think that's gonna be it for this episode that we just recorded, and I wanna let you guys know that we are starting to live stream this on Twitch. So if you wanna get it a week in advance, just follow the Twitch. It'll be in the comments below, and also follow our other social medias that are also in the description. So like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And until next time.
Until
Bye.
next time, have a good one. Good night.